been there the whole time. Just keep looking up and open up your eyes. Don't get lost in a crowd. You were made to stand out. The Wonder Creative Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back. Oh man, it's been an interesting, honestly, couple weeks of my life. But yeah, I'm happy to sit down and talk with you today. And hope you're doing good. And yeah, we're gonna talk about kind of finish out what we've been talking about with money. So the past a few weeks we've been discussing money and finances and profitability and stuff like that. And the last couple episodes I had my friend and bookkeeper on the show, and it was so great. She really had like some amazing words of wisdom regarding finances and business, and I'm just so thankful for her and proud of her for all that she's accomplishing and doing in her business and in her life. And so it's just an honor for me to be able to, like that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast, is to be able to sit down with my friends and people that I admire and honor, and have them on the show and, let you get to hear from them. So, okay, I'm going to share with you guys everything that I pay for. So we talked a little bit about my finances on the last episode, just kind of pulling back the curtain and talking about how, even just like with the last year's Q1 first quarter and this year's Q1 compared to one another for my business. And we kind of discovered that they were very similar. I had kind of a slow first quarter last year, and the same went for this year, but I brought in about the same amount, but I didn't have to work as hard for it this year because I have retainers and charging more. Some like a nice takeaway from looking at things year over year. And something that I talked about with her is like, I know a lot of businesses are kind of in an interesting place right now because of where things are with the economy and people maybe it taking a little bit more for them to spend money right now. And I think it's really important to pay attention to the data of your business and be looking at that, year over year, month by month, whatever, to really gain clarity on what's working, what's not working, and obviously hire a bookkeeper if you're able to. I actually don't even pay for a bookkeeper monthly. I do quarterly bookkeeping. So that's something that works for me and for my bookkeeper. And I just don't have a ton of stuff that comes in and out of my accounts that I feel like needs to be just constantly looked at every month. So quarterly bookkeeping works for me. So, that's like a really good, affordable option for businesses that maybe, are like me and don't have like a ton going on, but want to have someone in their books, making sure that, the finances are accurate. So then you can actually look at that data to make business decisions. So highly recommend that. As far as like, things that I pay for, I am an online business, so I, don't have like inventory. I don't pay rent anywhere. A lot of my things that I pay for are subscriptions. So I want to kind of tell you what I pay for and then also tell you why. These are resources that I use in my business that I love and am willing to pay for. So the first thing that I pay for, this is something that we talked about with Jenna, is HoneyBook. So HoneyBook is it's called a CRM, a client, relationship manager. Yes. It is basically whenever you go onto my website, if you go to my contact form, that's actually embedded into my website from HoneyBook, and it creates like a pipeline for all of my projects, all of my inquiries, so that everything stays in one place. This is like how I manage my contracts, my invoices, payment schedules. I send proposals through HoneyBook. It basically just, like it says, manages my relationship with my clients, mostly during like the onboarding process. So I really love it because of that, because everything is in one place. Really enjoy something that I do with my clients is usually someone is investing in a larger project that it goes over a course of weeks or months. And so if we do like a payment plan, then I usually set them up with an auto pay schedule. So all of my clients are on an auto pay schedule, which means we agree to a schedule payment plan, so they know what dates the money is coming out of their account, and it will just auto draft. It helps me because I'm not having to create invoices every month. And I'm not having to like chase people down for money. It all just gets auto drafted out. And that has been a very smooth process since day one. I've had HoneyBook since I started my business. So for 4 years now. So yeah, that's what I use. It makes it easy on my bookkeeper because she can go in there and see what's going on and download reports from HoneyBook, and it also connects to QuickBooks. So I have to have QuickBooks for my bookkeeper. So everything connects through that. I actually don't know a ton of like how HoneyBook and QuickBooks work together because I hate QuickBooks and I just let my my bookkeeper deal with that. But I know that it is a good thing that they sync up together. So so you can set up like workflows, automations, financial reports, and lots of other helpful information. One of my favorite things that they've come out with is the Smart File system. So at first it was kind of annoying and I couldn't really figure out what the purpose of it was. But then I got into it, and it basically like you can create a proposal for your client, your prospective client, and really like guide them through a series of pages instead of, because what I used to do is send off like a PDF of a proposal. But now this is a little bit more interactive. And so you can create different pages. They can select which package they want. Then it auto creates the invoice and the payment schedules for them so that they can see like what each package. My cat is moving. Okay. Stop, Kiki. Sorry. So it actually will create that schedule so they can see when they select different packages what the deposit is and then how those payments are sectioned out. So it's really helpful for the client, I think, in that like the prospective client to really be a little bit more engaging. And it helps me because then I don't have to create the invoice and all that stuff and like wait. I can just let them select it and then it does it all for them. They can pay their deposit, they can sign the contract and be done. So I hope that makes sense, but it's really nice. I kind of like critiqued the Smart File situation when it first came out because I was like, I feel like this is just more complicated. It's actually not. I actually really like it. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. I've talked a long time about HoneyBook, but it really is one of the larger subscriptions that I have, and it's pretty essential for me to run my business with. Like I've had it for all of the 4 years of my business. So anyway, I do have a code if you guys are interested in trying HoneyBook. You can get 50% off your first year, and I will put the link in the show notes of this episode. So obviously no pressure, but if you do want to try it and you do want to have a nice little deal, then I'm happy to share. The next thing I pay for is Notion. So actually, I switched over to Notion last year. I love Notion. I honestly don't know how even to describe it because a lot of people say it's like your second brain. You can like offload so much information into Notion and format it in ways that works for you. And that's actually where I host my client portal, which I created last year. And it has been such a game changer. I used to pay for Basecamp, and I really liked how it had everything in one place. And I liked some of the features, but I honestly wasn't utilizing all of them. And and it's like $100 a month. It's a lot of money. And so I was like, I need to find something else that's going to work for me. So I did a little bit of research, and Notion kind of started like rising during that time. Like so many people, so many designers were using Notion, and I was like, okay, well, clearly I need to try this out. So I tried it out, and I'm not going to lie, it's a learning curve. But once you kind of get in there, it's like really exciting. And like I have a personal one that I like journal in. I have like meal plans and stuff like that. I don't really use a meal plan. I haven't done that in a while, but it's nice that it's there. So I have, mainly like where I like write my, if I have a significant dream or something, I'll like type it out. So I have a section for dreams. I have a section for my journal. But for my business, it's where I host my client portal. I have a section for to-do lists. I have documents. It's basically like, it's a project management software, I guess you could say. It's a little bit like Asana, a little bit like Trello, ClickUp. Yeah, like it's kind of like all of those in one a little bit, but there were just aspects of all these other project management systems that I liked, but I just felt like I was still hindered. If you need something really basic, Notion is probably not the thing for you. But if you're in this place where you want something very custom and a little bit more robust to fit your needs, then I would suggest like trying it out and seeing how you like it. A lot of people ask me like, what's your favorite project management system? And I'm happy to share. Obviously, I just told you I use Notion, but honestly, like you have to figure out what works for you because we all work differently. We all, like our brains just function differently. So, I would suggest like trying out a couple different things and seeing what works for you. I really love Notion because I can do my client portal and it's so streamlined. And I'm all about that. As streamlined as I can be, I will be because it's a lot managing everything on your own. And so if I can keep everything in one place and streamlined, then I'm winning at life. So the next thing that I pay for in my business is Canva, which you've probably heard me talk a lot about if you follow me on Instagram and if you've been around for the podcast for a while. I love Canva. I love utilizing it for my clients, creating collateral for them. I love using it to manage my social media. I create a lot of my graphics and videos in Canva. And they just have grown so much since they started however many years ago. I can't remember how long they've been in business, but I just really love like how easy it can be to create assets. I obviously, and I've said this a million times, I do not create my brands in Canva simply because Canva owns all of their elements and things, their fonts, all of that. Like, the licensing and things can get a little hairy. So you actually can't even trademark anything that you create in Canva. So that is just one reason why I would never create a brand in Canva. I also wouldn't create a brand in Canva because when you use a program like Adobe Illustrator, you can create something a lot more custom and something in different variations that can meet different needs for print, for digital. It's just Canva really isn't the place to create something like a brand, but it is great to create collateral and marketing materials. So like business cards, go for it. I've done that and they're great. And social media stuff, yes, absolutely. I think it's a great platform, if you have created branding, you've had a designer create branding for you, drop it into Canva and just like start creating collateral with it. They do have so many like new features now. Like there's a lot of AI stuff. I don't really use that because it honestly, some of it feels like a lot more work for me, simply because I am a designer. Like I don't need AI to create me a bunch of graphics. But the like replace feature, the AI, like you can like, I can't remember what it's called, but you can basically erase a part of an image and have the AI like regenerate something different in that place. So like if there was a red flower in an image, you could basically erase the red flower and type to replace it with like a sunflower and it would. So that's kind of like a cool thing. But mainly, you know, I really strongly recommend like my clients, whenever we get done working on a project together, to go get in Canva and start getting comfortable with it, because that's going to be what helps you market your business and use your branding. So of course there's tons of templates in there. And just like a little word of advice, like if you have gotten branding done, be careful with the templates, make sure that they're still on brand, so that you're not confusing your audience. And you want to basically keep things very consistent, because when you show up in someone's feed or somewhere, you know, wherever people are going to have eyes on your stuff, like you need it to be recognizable every single time. So use the same colors all the time. Like that's why we establish brand colors, because it'll help people recognize what they're looking at. They'll know it's you. Just simple stuff like that. If you haven't gotten branding done, you can utilize Canva, pick a couple fonts, pick some colors, and start just being consistent there. It'll create just a sense of recognition and credibility, and I think it's a great place to start. Something that we offer is, you know, we'll create templates for our clients in Canva so that they can use those templates already. So you don't have to rely on the Canva templates. We can create templates for you that are branded and custom to you and your needs. And we have those all in Canva ready for you. If that's like an add-on. Sometimes I throw it into a package depending on what it is. But another thing is that they also have like a little design school. So they really, like, the company really wants to empower people to learn design, which I think is really great. And the only thing is, like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. So you know, if you have invested in branding, and then you get into Canva, make sure that you're staying, you know, consistent with your brand guidelines. Don't get too goofy or too silly or too out there with things, because it can actually do more harm than good sometimes. So always just be sure to check your brand guidelines. Run it by your designer even. You know, I don't mind providing that feedback to my clients. But yeah, I love Canva and I use it all the time. Not something that I necessarily pay for. I don't pay for Slack, but it is a great resource. I use Slack with my clients just for like that back and forth communication. So like whenever we have a project, I immediately add in the client into Slack, which is basically instant messaging for their workplace. You can send files, you can send messages, voice messages, you can send videos, links, obviously. Like, it just keeps it all in one place and avoids getting into text messages. I don't really like texting about a project because number one, it's my personal phone. I really try to keep those things separate. Number two, it's hard to like share things back and forth and access them again, and like having to scroll back through text messages, it's just a lot to have to keep up with. And then I don't always have my phone with me. A lot of times I'm on Do Not Disturb while I'm working, so that I can focus. So Slack is great. You can download the app on your phone or on the computer, and it just helps me like keep those boundaries in place. And it kind of helps like avoid emails for just like very quick, basic things. So I love Slack. Showit is the other thing that I pay for. So obviously I create all of my websites in Showit, and I love Showit. It is the web builder of my choice. It's great for me because it allows me to have creative freedom, and it's great for my clients because it is very user-friendly for them. Now, I am going to say that every website builder, host, whatever you want to say, platform is going to have a learning curve. So if you're trying to find one that's like the easiest to do, I mean, there are some that's like, these are not easy at all. But pretty much like all of them have a little bit of a learning curve to them. I personally really love Showit because it works with WordPress for blogging purposes. So you can host your blog. You can also, if you are a product-based business, you can have Shopify basically link up and be the engine for your shop, and all keeping it in Showit so that it's creative and it's presented beautifully. You don't have to worry about keeping things in boxes. Like, it's very if you can move it to that space, then that's where it can go. Like, it's great. It's a blank canvas and allows me to be creative and create websites that look different from other ones. So there's also like templates that you can get. Next thing that I use is Calendly. So this is where I schedule all of my meetings. It basically goes into my calendars and sees when I'm available and only offers those available times to people for consultations or meetings, whatever. And that's been really helpful because I don't have to say to my, clients or whomever, like, hey, I'm free these days. Are you free these days? Like, I can just say, hey, would love to meet. Here's a link to my calendar. Choose a time that works for you. Like, it's great. It reminds them of the meeting. It's pretty cheap. And it's one of those things that just makes life easier for me. The other thing is Libsyn. So that's my podcasting platform that I use to distribute my podcasts out. And I love it. Honestly, I don't have that much to say about it except for it does what I need it to do. But it's all pretty straightforward. There's plenty of other ones out there, but this is just the one that I use. I mentioned that I pay for QuickBooks earlier, and that's not really something that I do a whole lot with. I do go in there and look at like my reports sometimes and see kind of like where I'm at as far as revenue and such, but I don't do a whole lot for that. I don't do a whole lot with QuickBooks. I mainly have that for my bookkeeper because she needs that in order to do her job. The thing I pay for Envato, so it's like a graphic design resource, basically just a library of creative resources for designers. So that's where I get a lot of my fonts, mainly get fonts from Envato, which is super helpful because as a brand designer, I download like a crap ton of fonts all the time. And so I just pay a monthly fee and I can download as many fonts as I want. So that's kind of mainly what I use it for. I have used it for a few other things like stock imagery or video, not really video, sounds, not really that. They do offer that, but I don't really use those. Honestly, it's mainly fonts. Okay, let's see what else. I have an iCloud subscription, so that's where I have like a bajillion videos and photos and things on my phone, plus on my computer I have so many files, and I've found that it's just easier to have everything be on the cloud. This may come to bite me in the butt later if something ever happens to the cloud, but hopefully it doesn't. I do have an external that I use, to house a lot of my files, but honestly, I think it's kind of old and it's not really been working the best lately. So I've just kind of started keeping everything in the cloud and it works good for me. It's like $9 a month. Oh, should I have told you how much each of these things are? I probably should have. Let's go back. Okay, let's go back and tell you how much each thing is. So HoneyBook is $40 a month. Notion, I pay yearly for that. I think it's 40, somewhere around 40. I think it is. Hey, so this is Editing Chloe. Definitely do not pay $40. It's $96 a year, which is great because it is exactly what Basecamp was monthly. So I'm saving a lot of money doing Notion instead of Basecamp. Canva, I also pay yearly for that, but I think it's $12.99 a month. Slack, I don't pay for. Showit is $29 a month. Calendly is $10 a month, but I pay yearly for that one. Libsyn is $20 a month. Let's see. QuickBooks is I just got to deal with them. I got a discount, so I pay $15 a month until October, and then it'll go to $30 a month. Let's see. iCloud is $9 a month. I also pay for Spotify because I create my if I have like a big client that's gonna, like, it's one of those larger projects, I include like a complimentary playlist. And it's just like something that I like to do. That it kind of, honestly, music can convey so much of like a vibe. And so it kind of just like is a step further to like get us in this frame of mind for the specific project. So I like to create little playlists for my clients. And that's really fun for me because I get to listen to them while I'm designing. And then it's fun for them because they have like a whole playlist dedicated to their brand. So that's super fun. The last thing that I pay for is Loom. That is where I basically save myself the time of having like a million meetings. So it is where I can record my screen and like myself talking and like giving presentation. So like whenever I create brands, I don't just like send off stuff. I present it to my clients. So I explain like, this is why we went in this direction. This is why we have this font. This is why I feel like this is going to be a great direction for you, yada, yada, yada. And so I utilize Loom for that because it allows me to record my screen and they can also see my face and I can present. You can use Canva. Canva has this feature as well. I like Loom because it keeps it all like in a library for me. And I also record my tutorials. So if someone has like a website package with me, I record my tutorials and of how to update their site and how to utilize Showit and all that stuff. And so I do that in Loom and it puts it in a library for me. And so I can just kind of keep track of everything. So I do like that aspect. And so I pay for the service for that aspect. The only other things that I don't really have listed that come out like every month are my bookkeeping. So I pay quarterly for my bookkeeping services. And then I also have, Loom is, how much is it a month? I paid up for that for the year. It's how much is that? $15. So Loom is $15 a month, but I pay yearly for that one. Hey, it's Editing Chloe again. So something that I didn't mention whenever I was recording this was kind of like talking about why I pay yearly for some things and why I have monthly for other things. I'm slowly kind of transitioning all of my subscriptions to be yearly because that's just better month by month if I can do that. So there are some things that I know I'm going to have always, like Canva, Showit, Calendly. Like I'm going to use those things probably all the time. So those are the things that I want to try to pay up for the year. And it's really good for your business if you can try to go ahead and do yearly for things versus monthly, because it gives you a lot more space month by month in your business. So just wanted to throw that little tip out there. That's something that I've been working on. I know it's easy to just do month by month. It's a lower investment, and sometimes that's just what you got to do. But if you can, try to pay up for the year for things that you know you're always going to use. But I have, obviously my bookkeeper, and I pay quarterly for that. And then I have my CPA. So whenever my tax time comes around, I have my CPA who I pay to file my taxes for me. I also do have some contractors that I work with. So my main ride or die, my designer that I have on my team for some of my projects, Andrew. So I pay for him. And I think that's pretty much it. Sometimes I pay for, obviously I do like client gifts. So whenever someone does like a big package with me, I send them a gift. I also, like, even for a smaller client, I like to at least like send them like a Starbucks gift card or something whenever they sign and book a package, just as like a little treat and a little thank you, and just to celebrate us working together. I am a part of my local chamber, so I paid yearly for being a part of the chamber. And then also, like, there's like these little events that they do, and they charge for those, so I'll pay for those to attend those events. And then, of course, I pay for my domain and my Google Suite for my business, but that comes out every year. That's not a monthly thing. Yeah, so I think that's other than just like a lot of coffee whenever I go work at a coffee shop or something. That's pretty much it. I hope I remembered everything. So I don't know if this is totally right. I feel like it is, but let's see, like software and apps really make up the bulk of my expenses, but I think my total expenses every month, my expenses vary between like $400 to $600. So depending on what all I've got going on, what all I buy, but my software and apps, they're usually around $400. So, yeah, that's just what I pulled up in QuickBooks. I hope it's right. I think it's right. So yeah, I don't have a ton of expenses right now, but that's kind of where we're at as far as like monthly things. Sometimes I'll invest in education, or I'll invest, in some sort of product or service. But most of the time, just with those like regular things, that resources and things that I pay for every month, that's kind of like a little like list of the things that I'm always paying for. So I hope this was helpful. And if anything, like, I always love like hearing, what other people use to run their businesses, and kind of like getting a behind the scenes. It gives me some ideas of new ways to run my business. So I just always enjoy that. So I hope it was enjoyable for you to hear that side of my business. Thank you so much for joining this week. It's kind of a quick, just boom, boom, boom episode. But thanks for hanging in there with me. I'm sorry it's a day late, but thanks for just understanding. And I'll catch you guys next week.